Welcome back to another Brand Decoded show. And I want to reflect in this episode about feeling stuck. And it's not ironic that I am lately feeling stuck. And it's not the first time, because life is not a linear progression. You're bound to get stuck. It's kind of like going to the gym and then you get the newbie gains and you feel empowered to keep working out. But after the newbie gains, you hit a plateau. And in life, you can often hit the plateau and you can feel stuck, but you can't really pinpoint on the area of your life where you're feeling stuck. So one of my problems was that I was over focused on making more money, and it worked. But then I started feeling underdeveloped in other areas of my life. Oh, my fitness is not at its peak capacity. Oh, my relationships are not where I want them to be. Or I don't have enough friends and my social life is stuck. And that just gives you to show that life is not the linear game that you observe from the lens of the one problem. For most people, that's money, because people overemphasize money and they let the money regulate their life. And for any one of you who are watching this and saying "Oh, Brian, money, focusing on money is evil," stop watching this. Just go get a job or do something so you can make more money, because that statement just annoys me. Oh, money is evil. No, money is energy. That's one of the things that I've realized as I was working a job, is that the job had a very good purpose of extracting my own energy. And oftentimes it's not a bad thing. I used to be an employee and I managed hundreds of people. And in managing hundreds of people, I realized how to channel their energy. People lack structure. So job could be really good training wheels on your path to stabilizing your primary pillars of life, which is wealth, relationships, health, and energy. And if you go overly logical into life and you start focusing only on money, and you neglect these other components of your life that could be giving you more energy, you will stifle your growth. Because you're becoming a one-dimensional being, and as one-dimensional being, you have harder time breaking into that one dimension where you're focused on, because you don't have any other aspects of your life from which you're drawing that energy. And that there was this Chinese proverb, a student was asking his master or guru, whatever, a teacher, asked him how long until I become successful? How long do I have to work until I become successful at this craft? And the teacher tells him 10 years. But what if I work twice as hard, twice as long? How long will it take me to master this? And the teacher tells him 20 years. So I'm paraphrasing that because I pulled it out of my memory. It's not scripted. But the morale of that story for me is that you have to let some things take their own course. And you can't take eyes off of the rest of your life while you're doing it, because life is not one-dimensional. Just because you have one problem doesn't mean that you shouldn't attack all the problems of your life. And I think that a lot of guys in their 20s, they're looking at the life from a perspective of lack. And it's very easy to understand how you're lacking when you have nothing and no one wants to look at you, and you're energetically you have high needs and you want to get out there in the world and prove yourself, but you have nothing, and you feel stifled down, like you don't have that energy and capacity, and most importantly, you don't have the skill and knowledge on how to acquire things in life. You're not a safe option. Maybe some girls are going to overlook you. Just remember that your time's coming. Like the guys mature like fully in their 30s. That's when they're peaking. So if you keep that in mind, you will be able to develop yourself without putting any additional pressure. And I think it's a good coping mechanism, because when I was in my early 20s, I just had this undeniable belief in myself that I will achieve my goal. And at the time, I used my 20s to move to another continent, to move to a new country, which is like a pretty big, significant shift that put me in a fight or flight situation where I had to build myself up from zero. I kind of like had to relive my 20s twice almost, because I came to the States like when I was 27. So, but that allowed me to acquire the skills that enable me to coast around in any circumstance that I'm finding myself into. But as I said, the social life suffered, because I had to invest a whole decade of my life into getting myself established, and maybe some other areas of my life are not where I want them to be, and I'm like feeling stuck, like I'm starting from ground zero, because like I had these blinders on. And the funny thing is as soon as I leaned back from the financial aspects and I started to observe the life more holistically, the financial aspect also exploded. So I would argue that if you're feeling stuck, the sheer fact why you're feeling stuck is not that you're actually stuck, it's that you're lacking on your basic needs that you've been neglecting, because you've been hyper fixated on the lack, on the thing that you do not have in this moment in time. And when you focus on the lack, you project scarcity. And in order to overcome scarcity, the cure is gratitude. When you're thankful for what you have, even though that could be extremely small, the energy shifts. It's the best shift of energy that you can consciously do every time you notice scarcity, is to revert your focus back on gratitude. The religion has been teaching people how to be grateful since the dawn of time. No wonder that gratitude is a virtue. And also just think how people act when you are grateful. It is the energy that just bounces back and multiplies itself and brings you more. So I think that a lot of people in this country, United States of America, are acting absurdly entitled. And I mean absurdly. And if you guys were just to shift your focus from scarcity to gratitude, your life would get infinitely better. Brian Decoded, I'm getting back into the groove of recording these. I hope you enjoyed them. Like, subscribe. That's the moment in the video where I ask you to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you found this helpful, please let me know. If not, I don't know why did you watch it so far, but thankful for the attention in the spirit of gratitude. Bye, guys.